I think the more relevant question actually is what is wrong with America?
The Democrats are the ones, they are the party that cares for the blue collar.
The 47th President of the United States.
This is the biggest red wave I've seen since Ronald Reagan's 49-state victory.
There were appeals to racism in this campaign, and there is racial bias in this country, and there is sexism in this country.
Trump, once again elected to the White House, leaders around the world congratulating him on his historic comeback. But there is one leader who apparently has no plans to congratulate him, Russia's Vladimir Putin, according to the Kremlin.
When asked the question about why hasn't Vladimir Putin congratulated President-elect Donald Trump, he said, let's not forget that we're talking about an unfriendly country that is both directly and indirectly involved in a war against our state.
We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy?
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. For you that are Culturians, thank you for being a member of the channel. We've got a lot coming up in today's show. Maybe not quite 2 hours long, but it may be very close now since we were quite delayed getting in here. I'm very excited to share with you all that I have behind the scenes, but I'm also a little bit sad. We are now 23 days into a shutdown we shouldn't be in. And it turns out we're here for a disingenuous set of reasons beyond, obviously, the $1.5 trillion spending addition that the Democrats want, or they won't do anything. I have a feeling that the Republicans are going to have to use the nuclear option and remove the filibuster and get to just a basic 50% vote, take it away from the 60 vote. And that'll be a real shame. It'll be the first time that has been done in a very long time. I like the established practice of requiring the vast majority, 60 people to vote for something. But hey, you set the rules, you got to fix them. So it's good to see you guys out there. Thank you all for being here. We did get a very early super chat, which I do really appreciate, guys. You are keeping the channel going. You don't even know how real that statement is. But this is one of the shows I love to do, and I want to say a quick thank you to the first Dragon Queen for $2. Thank you, dear. I'll have to do a garden bear next. Hugs for all. Thank you very much, Dragon Queen. You are amazing. Now, I'm going to tell you that because of the multiple false starts of the stream, the chat has been lost multiple times. So I'm playing catch up from here. So from this point forward, I should be able to catch the entire chat, but let's get to it. Sounds like CC still has bad gateway, and the computer isn't doing so hot either. It's bad gateway. Hopefully you guys can see and hear me. Is that correct? You guys can see and hear me? Raise your hand. Guys, 5x5. Come on. Hello. Okay. Eddie Rodriguez dropped a whole string of emojis. That's awesome. Thank you for that. What about the green machine? You guys seeing me, hearing me, anything? Where's culture? I'm right here. You guys don't see me? Guys. Guys. I should be live. Let's see if I'm live. Hello. Hi, see me. This is weird sauce. You guys don't see me? Or hear me clearly. This is wild. Let's try again. Am I here? Guys, wave. Say hello. Somebody say something. Did it start in another location? Anyone? Bueller? Can you guys hear me? I don't know what's going on. You should be able to see and hear me. Guys, go check out the other stream. I mean, for if you're here, I don't know what's going on. Hey, Brahma, what's up? Okay, good. Thank you. Bye. All right, good. Okay. Brahma just let me know. All right, good. Okay, so let's get started with the show since we've had all the technical difficulties I could use in a lifetime. All right, so again, thanks all for being here. Hopefully the rest of you managed to get over to the other stream. And I want to say thank you to Dragon Queen for that. Much appreciated. You guys are great. Let's get going. All right. So first and foremost, the shutdown's been going down for far too long. 23 days is ridiculous. And again, it's all because the Democrats are stalling. For what? I don't know, but I think they're stalling for dollars. And what leads me to believe that is the fact that that's genuinely what they're doing. If you take a look at a couple of video clips I have for you, you'll understand. Speaker Johnson and House GOP leaders held a presser this morning to talk about it. So let's take a look.
Another Democrat said Senator Ossoff's calculation is, quote, do I vote to open the government up and get crushed and can't raise a single dollar of low dollar money? Or do I vote to shut the government down and get $3 million from online fundraising? That's disgusting. Senator Ossoff is more concerned about getting low-dollar donations from maybe some donor in California who's going to click on an email and give him $100 for his reelection, and so he's causing suffering on tens of thousands of people in his home state of Georgia. Senator Ossoff ought to send that tainted, dirty money back if he's raised $3 million off of the shutdown, off of the suffering he's caused, just so that he can get some more money from radicals around the country. Go look at his finance report during the shutdown.
Yeah. And that's the other problem is like they have incentives not to do things, not to mention there's theoretically people in the background telling them they'll fund them if, they don't open the government. And right now, the only reason we don't have the government open is because of Schumer. Schumer is trying not to be replaced. He's going to get primaried no matter what. So because of two people's fear, Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer, the government is not open, which is not okay. And the problem is they laid their playbook bare in front of the American people. We're seeing this more and more frequently when somebody just accidentally tells the truth or they say the quiet part out loud. And this has been a kind of a series of things that have been happening behind the scenes that they bring out into public in the form of interviews. The number two person right now in leadership is out doing interviews that are absolutely disgusting, as the previous leader was describing. When you take a look at this particular interview, and you guys didn't hear a word of that because it didn't switch screens. There we go. Let's try again. Here's the interview.
I mean, shutdowns are terrible. And of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously. But it is one of the few leveraged times we have.
It's one of the few leveraged times we have. Did you hear her? I did. This is one of those things that just grosses me out about politics and politicians specifically. This woman, this person who's supposed to be in a leadership role for the Democratic Party is absolutely ruining her constituency for leverage. I found that reprehensible, but maybe that's just me. And finally, a little bit more about this shutdown from the leader himself. House Leader Johnson is doing a stellar job politics-wise, but I think he's not getting the kind of credit he deserves. This guy is a constitutional scholar. That's his legal practice, is constitutional law. He knows what should and shouldn't be done. It's one of the reasons why he's so good at his job. And he's talking to, in this article we're about to grab, one of the most disingenuous people in media, Caitlin Collins. So I think this will be a lot of fun. This is an interview, I believe, from last night. Let's take a look.
Person who can answer that question is Chuck Schumer and his Democrat colleagues in the Senate. They've now voted a dozen times to keep the government closed. And this is really important, Caitlin. Today, there was a big development on Capitol Hill that the second highest ranked House Democrat in leadership, Whip Catherine Clark, admitted openly that they have shut the government down and that they are using hardworking American families as leverage. Yep. For what? So that they can show a fight against Trump and also so that they can restore $200 billion in free health care paid for by U.S. taxpayers to illegal aliens. Yes, that's in their bill. And it's just part of the $1.5 trillion that they have demanded to spend. We're not going to do that. They know we're not going to do that. And she said in her own words today, quote, "We know that families will suffer, but this is only one of only the leverage times that we have." She said that in her own words, and it was pretty shocking today to hear them say that. They usually don't say the quiet parts out loud. Person who can answer $200 billion.
Yeah. They usually don't say the quiet part out loud. Now, if you've had a chance to view any of these clips, they've been all over X all day, but this is actually from Speaker Johnson's account. So you can actually find this clip there. Now, Caitlin Collins is a paid shill working at a news network, if you can call CNN a news network still. And, just kind of a reprehensible person. But moving away from that and the odd hominem attacks, I'll just say this is why we're here. And this is why we're 23 days into this now. And we shouldn't be. People shouldn't be worried about a paycheck. Government contractors shouldn't have to worry. The folks in the military shouldn't have to worry. And fortunately, because of some interesting moving of money around, they're supposedly not going to suffer. This is one of many things that gets me super frustrated here, and there are people making sense on this, and everybody knows we need 5 more people to cross the line from the Democratic side of the aisle to actually, serve their constituency and their people, and not play politics when you're not supposed to have politics in these kinds of situations. This is not the time for policy. Policy is negotiated, and these people are worried because the leverage that they have, and this $1.5 trillion that I promise you some of it's getting funneled back to the corrupt NGOs and other places like that. They're just trying to save the terrible idea that was Obamacare, not to mention the fact get their friends paid off, because make no mistake, that's exactly what happens in these back rooms and these backroom deals. Speaker Johnson says we're not going to do that, and you know what? I'm with them. I'm going to support the party that's trying to keep spending down all the way to the wall. And as much as right now Rand Paul's frustrating me because, he's obstinate. He just doesn't want any more spending at all. He doesn't want a deficit. He's not interested in the debt. And, the deficit's been going down. So believe it or not. But I would really, I'd like your guys' input on this because I'm unsure. Um, do you guys think that the Democrats are going to have to fold, or do you think that eventually this will run long enough that people will get frustrated with the Republicans? There's a lot of fake polling that has been done recently by the obvious and normal suspects that are trying to indicate that the numbers aren't the way they are, and the way that actually CNN has been reporting them. I mean, you can fudge the numbers all you want. You can do push polling and all kinds of other things. But, I was on screen with Mark Mitchell last night, one of the best pollsters on the planet, from Rasmussen. And, he seems to think that a lot of these numbers are, being called out right. Not from these new polls, which kind of hit today to try to make the Democrats not look so bad after an awful weekend. The optics were bad, especially with Geezer Fest. Anyway, the only guy that seems to be making sense that's a Democrat is an unlikely one. At least it was unlikely to me. The person that kind of went into the election with what I thought was less brain than Biden is the person that's actually sounding rational and sane. Let's see what you guys have to say. We'll get into, of course, I'm talking about Fetterman. We'll get into what he said in just a moment. Thank you for joining me over here, guys. Sorry it took so long to get this going. Feel free to think is in the house. Good to see you. I are on YouTube. Okay. All right. You guys saved my bacon. Thank you. I'm glad you guys could see and hear me. All right. Yeah, I was having pure chaos there. That freaks me out. What's up, Maddie? Yeah, it's pure chaos in DC right now too. Culture, sing, share. I believe it or not, I don't have a military gunship, so I can sit on a cannon. So there's that. I don't know what's been going on, to be sure, with what's going on and with EV Mux, but we've got it going. And if you see me on Rumble, it's good to see you. All right, where are you guys at? I'm trying to catch up with where you guys were. Hey, Mark Nichols is in the house saying, Jeff Helms, she has resting smug face. Yeah, Caitlin. Yeah, she's not great. There's our good friend Commander Ed Straker. Shadow. I really hate this @ symbol thing that YouTube's back to doing, and I think you guys don't enjoy it either. So, who else is out there? There's Wild Manny Evans says 100% CC. I think people are going to get really tired of this. This is going to make the Democrats even more unpopular than they are right now. Keep it real. Good to see you. I'm American. I paid taxes. I'm disabled. I don't get one dime. Screw the Dems. Yep, I'm with you. I am a real American. And we got a super duper chat here. Thank you very much, Archer Merchant. Thank you for being here, my friend. Says, I feel like Newsom sent in National Guard for food banks because he lost the court challenge to keep them out. So now he wants to appear productive. He isn't. Again, Newsom is one of the most failed government workers in the history of the planet. I have some clips with him too. We'll get to, I assure you. But then this huge scam and scandal hit today in sports, which, believe it or not, I'm going to save sports ball for the end, but we are going to talk about it. So there's that. So I don't think you're wrong, Archer Merchant. I don't think you're wrong. All right. Hey, what's up? Fallen Angel Delinks is here. Ironic that Democrat that suffered a stroke during the election is the only one making sense. It's very strange. I feel like his brain has rearranged itself back to where it had been. He almost speaks without a break. He speaks more clearly than I do sometimes, especially when I'm tired. I've only been did not have a lot of sleep last night, in case you guys weren't at the WDW Pro show last night for celebrating 200K. But let's get to this particular Hannity interview with Fetterman. See, Fetterman talks better than I do right now. This is a pretty good interview. So about 90 seconds, we can do it. Here we go.
I don't know why, and I've always refused to say that. And when then the Vice President Harris referred to President Trump as a fascist, and I knew absolutely we lost the plot at that point. You know, if you call the president or someone like a fascist, you're effectively calling the people that are going to vote for him, and then they must be fascist too, or they support fascism and those things, and that's just not true. That's just not it. I happen to know, and I love a lot of people that voted for the president, and they're not fascists, they're not Nazis, they're not trying to destroy the Constitution and all those things. They just happen to have a different priorities, and they love our country in the same ways that Democrats do as well. Yeah. So I refuse to do those kinds of a thing, because that kind of extreme kinds of rhetoric makes it easier for those kinds of extreme kinds of actions, even like what happened to poor Charlie Kirk and that. And now why you can't allow people to grieve and now use that an opportunity to criticize or to turn it into something. It's like, it's just basic humanity there. And like, we're forgetting that we need each other. We need each other here. And now I refuse to be a part of it and comparing people to Hitler and those things, because if that's what's required to win, then I refuse to.
There you go. It's a rational thought. And one of the reasons I wanted to play this clip is because there's been so many violent statements. They are trying to incite violence and things like that. I'm going to play several of those for you here in a minute. But I find that kind of rhetoric kind of disgusting. And in the fact that, it's Fetterman, calling out his own party. That's wonderful. that's to good effect, in my opinion, is that he's being thoughtful about, how damaging that can be. And we need more people in the Democrat Party that are calling that kind of thing out, I think. Um, you know, I mean, it doesn't help for me to, uh, you know, call out people and incite anything against them. I think that's awful, and I think it leads to incidents like Charlie Kirk, as Fetterman said. So I think it's very dangerous. Um, let's see what you guys say. We got Zippy in the house. Good to see you. And Godzillionaire. Hello. You know what else is disgusting? Eating rice with your bare hands. Kind of weird. I've seen people do it. Um, hey, Fallen Angel D Link says, "You are correct, sir." There you go. And lots of other fun things. All right. Let's move on, because like I said, I have clips for days right now. Um, we have a problem in modern politics at the moment that I don't think anybody can deny. Um, people working against the United States that are supposed to be working for us as politicians, and then the the call to violence that these politicians are talking about. Um, a, a Democrat named Yolanda Jones, I guess, who's in Texas, is just calling out to be violent and what she would actually do, and all of these things. I don't, man, I'm going to say this very carefully. We do not need uh, aggressive gangland kind of rhetoric coming out of politicians' mouth. It's not healthy. And like I said, I mean, it just listen. I'm gonna play this clip because I really honestly feel like I have lost my dang mind that this is happening in this day and age. So here's Yolanda.
Work. I'm from the hood, okay? So when a bully comes, like, if there are no rules, you literally have to figure it out. So Donald Trump has changed things, and people trying to do what's always been done is not going to work. And I think that's why Democrats are losing black people. That's why they're losing poor people, because poor people, all they want is for us to fight. So if you hit me in my face, I'm not going to punch you back in your face. I'm going to go across your neck.
I'm going to slit your throat. This is, of course, CNN. And this chick next to her, this one right here, her follow-up question is complete garbage. That's why it's not on this clip. But I don't think that's appropriate. I think it's an example of exactly the opposite thing that we need these days. Just like, promoting and loving on a film that's an anti-FA love letter, like One Battle After Another. I think that's a real issue. Maybe y'all don't. I think you probably all do. I think majority of you agree with me, but it's not okay. It's not okay. We got a super duper chat from our friend Dean Krantz. Good to see you, sir. Remember, today is the anniversary of the Beirut barracks tragedy. Do not forget those young Marines. Indeed. I feel like in our history we've had more than a few of these terrible incidents. So, but you guys are on board, right? I hope I'm not alone on this one. And indeed, that bombing was pretty rough. let's not forget the people in uniform that we love and appreciate so much. And again, Dean, thank you for your service, sir. The new Texas man. New Texas map not only wipes out 5 Democratic districts, 2 of them are all Greens. That's right. Al Green, right? Al Green, the guy that was that's just a terribly rude person that needs to have the sergeant at arms remove them pretty regular when he was being censured. The guy's just a jerk face, and of course Jasmine Crockett's district is gone, so there's that. What else is out there? Yeah, I think if you're a political figure and you're speaking in these terms, you should open yourself up to some kind of an enforcement. But it is what it is. Weatherman, completely no news. How about the Communist News Network? How about that? Doing that way back in the day. So that's not okay to me. That's not okay. Hello to Mark Nichols again with the generosity. Thank you, my friend, for the super duper chat. Much appreciated. Says, if politicians are calling for violence, they're admitting they can't win the argument with facts and logic. Indeed. It's the same reason why I often try not to use ad hominem attacks, because the minute you go for that, it's an indication that you're not pushing back. The problem is Democrats have a lot of failed policies, including Obamacare, which the only reason they got in place, by the way, if you hearken back to history, was with the same tactic of a shutdown. This never should have happened in the first place. And again, the only way they can get it in place is, these maneuvers, these silly maneuvers. And I think Republicans are figuring out that if they stand up to the bully, who the Democrats are used to being bullies, now they're losing power, so they're not so much of a bully anymore. Just say no and point out what's going on. Hey, Richard, good to see you. Richard James in the house. Man, some of the UK news has been awful. For my friends in the UK, Pam and everybody over there, Juliet, I'm so sorry for you right now. I'm so very sorry for you. The investigation and inquiry into the gangs over there has been absolutely filthy. And that one lady, I think her name is Jess something or another. She is must be less than human to treat those women that way. But a 5th person resigned from that inquiry. And I don't know how this is happening anymore. I really don't know. Anyway. Yeah, I did hear about the NBA. We'll be covering that at the end of the show, Real Wade. So indeed. Yeah, Casman Ratchet. Well, it was a gambit. I mean, she comes from a very wealthy background. So the fact that she was trying to play hood is awful. And this lady's, not going. But she says, if they go low, I'm going to the gutter. I don't understand the mindset, but that's just me. I don't get it. And I think you can illustrate with good logic and points that your position is better. I don't think you need to threaten people. I don't think that's good. Ireland is popping off right now. I'm going to say I'm not surprised, but I'll look into that too. Yeah, anytime there's an increase in Obamacare, it hits the American family. This is a socialist medical program that the healthcare organizations continually exploit and take advantage of. And again, the spreadsheet warriors are the ones that are destroying the very industry that the nation needs. So, Weatherman says inciting violence in public is breaking federal law. Well, I mean, slitting your throat's not good. I mean, insinuating that you would take that action is equally not good. But the problem is this kind of rhetoric creeps all the way up into leadership. And I came to a conclusion that Democrats are the party of violence and the party of crime because they're apparently okay with both. And I don't get that. Illegal aliens are fine. No, they're not. They're the first word you say um, is illegal. Well, they don't like to use that, so they started using the socialist way of weaseling around words, saying undocumented, which is also illegal. They just have a real problem telling the truth, and they create their own version of truth, and it kind of offends people. But again, the top leader or one of the top leaders in the Democratic Party is all about violence. In fact, right now I give you Hakeem Jeffries in a statement where he's standing at a podium, folks. He knows where he is. He knows he's in public, and yet you're going to see what this person says. This may be the least intimidating person on the planet. So here you go. Oh, you're not going to be able to hear much. It's a reporter asking a question.
Is it plausible that the speaker hadn't heard about this case before a reporter asked him this morning, since the authorities in New York announced the arrest on Sunday?
Well, that's not clear, and that, is for people to judge the credibility of that response. At the end of the day, here in America, we're living in a moment of extreme political violence.
Because of Democrats.
And that impacts every single person in public service and the people that we are all working hard to represent. But we will not be intimidated. We will continue to show up and stand up and speak up for the American people, to improve their quality of life, to address the extremism that is being unleashed on everyday Americans by this administration all across the country. We will not bend. We will not break. We will never bow down. And when it comes to these extremists out there, you better watch how you talk when you talk about me.
Oh, no. Oh, no. You better watch how you talk when you talk about me. Oh, no. Yeah, it is difficult to recognize him without the sombrero. I agree. The Dems insisted the BBB must be read in Congress. If that happened with the Affordable Care Act, they still would be reading it. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't get it. Hail to the chat indeed, Marcelo. This is just crazy. Weak men create hard times. Spirian is quoting a great quote. The Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are as weak as they come. Indeed, which is, again, these are the two men, Schumer and Jeffries. These are the reason that we're in the shutdown. Okay. These guys are the shutdown because they can't risk a challenge. AOC would clean one of their clocks, right? And she's just a socialist enough to get the socialist Democrats on board. The problem is that the Democrats are basically being turned into a socialist party. I don't think that's good for them, and I don't think that's going to engender Americans to vote for them. Nobody's going to be excited to vote for the commies. Sorry, we know how that book ends. So, Timu Corey threatening. Yeah, he's not a very nice man. So, but yeah, this is one of those days that it's just like there's way too much way too much work here. It's just no bueno always pops into my mind. But worse than that, apparently there is a candidate in the Democratic Party, and forgive me, I forget this guy's name, but he has an SS tattoo that he's proud to display when he's half naked at what appears to be a bar or restaurant. This is a clip that I thought was really interesting, or actually wild. No, Dean. Communism and socialism never works. It basically decimates the population and all industry. So it does exactly the opposite of what they claim. And they know that. But it's never been done for real. Yeah. Yeah. Is it so, Soros? No, but this guy's actually running for office. He's a candidate. And this is really crazy. This literally is an SS tattoo. And not the actual blatant one that you see on a lot of these weird skinhead people, but this is well, you'll see for yourself. Here's the clip. I did the best I could with it, and this could get a copyright claim maybe, but watch this. So do you see that tattoo there? You're going to get a close up of it in just a moment. But doesn't this guy like look out of place? I mean, he should be in one of those bars with a bunch of guys dressed in leather, you know, the Blue Oyster, right? This guy should be in the Blue Oyster, not listening to Wrecking Ball. There it is. Anyway, this clip goes on for a few more seconds, but and well, let me give you the comparison picture. There you go. Anyway, getting tired of this stuff. And it's every day. It's every day. I mean, I have 100 clips I've clipped probably in the last 48 hours that we're not going to see. But I have hope. I have hope. Because Democratic voters, the voter patterns that they rely on, aren't actually there with them anymore. Because beautiful, thoughtful people are coming around, and I appreciate that. So if you're looking for these accounts, I'll try to mention them as we go through them. I try to do that anyway to support these folks. But when you take a look at this, which is MAGA Voice, that's a good account. If you're interested in that particular political movement, good account to follow. But this is actually breaking. This was on Fox News, and young black men in a barbershop said they will vote for Republican Jack Citarelli in New Jersey. Something that I promise you somebody in one of those offices for Mickey Sherrill is freaking out about. I'm going to go with Jack. Mickey Sherrill is avoiding real serious questions. And this is in regards to the fact that Mickey Sherrill doesn't like to answer the tough questions. She just likes to be a boss babe. And they have the same problem in the governor's race with that Abigail Spanberg or whatever her name is, because Winsome Sears is fearless, and an advocate for the Second Amendment. I like her a lot. Democrats are losing the black vote. Early voting is on Saturday. So here it is. We'll listen to this. Hopefully it's got enough volume. Let's go.
Is the Garden State, right? Yeah. What's growing in New Jersey? I don't see anything growing.
I'm gonna go with Jack.
You gonna go with Jack?
Yeah, because from what I've seen her in her commercial,
Mike Cashier.
she's not answering. She's avoiding real serious questions.
I'm leaning on her. I just like her opinions.
All right, so some people there like Mikey Sherrill, a lot of people like you, Jack, but when you take a look at the polls, some of them now are within the margin of error, but if we go back to 2021, the polls seem to undercount your support by about 6 points. But what can you do in the next 2 weeks to bring this one across the line?
What we've been doing every day since the day after the primary, getting up and down the state, telling people very specifically how we're going to fix the state of New Jersey. It needs fixing. We've got an affordability crisis, a public education crisis, public safety crisis, overdevelopment in our suburban communities. And my opponent's entire campaign has been based on a stack of lies, her disdain for the president. She could fly a helicopter. That's not going to fix New Jersey. And when the Republican nominee is being endorsed by Democratic mayors up and down the state, that tells you how badly people want change.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. What do you think that's going to do come November the 4th in terms of flipping some Democratic support to you?
Hey, listen, Republicans are all in, unaffiliated independent voters are all in, and even moderate Democrats are all in because it's been 8 years of failed policies, and they're so very fearful that my opponent is Murphy 2.0.
You know, and that's a good point. And in
public safety crisis,
did it again. But I've always been worried about a lot of these races, and a lot of people don't pay attention to the down ticket stuff. But we saw a lot of movement into the red, into the Republican side of the equation in the last election. The momentum hasn't stopped or shifted. If anything, I mean, this is a very positive sign. New Jersey could end up with better energy policies. And again, the Truth Social messaging coming out of Trump is very descriptive of all the problems going on out there. I'm just looking forward. And I'm very encouraged because the electorate is siding with logic and reason and finding common sense again. So I think that's a good thing. No, I have not seen it yet. Putin's cat. I'm sorry, my friend. Always make sure you at me if you didn't. I imagine you probably did. So I'll go looking for it. I haven't really been diving through the mentions part of X recently, but dude, I'm loving all the work you're doing. I think it's great. I really am. Loving what you're doing. Yeah, and this is kind of true, Tom Mix. The parties have been subverted by Trotskyyites before. Yeah, it's happened before. We don't need that at all. I see Popsicle out there. Big Hoof. You guys are paying close attention to today's stuff. I'm tired of one party claiming the other party is inciting violence when they're doing it in their rhetoric. I'm more than a little disgusted. And again, all I can do is show you the clips. That's all I can do. But again, what is the platform? America last, illegals first. That's somebody's been saying that, I'm sure. When it comes to the Democrat positions on things. I mean, their platform is we're for illegal aliens and giving them all your tax money. I mean, that's hyperbolic and inaccurate, but it's said for extreme effect for, the power that it has. I want my health care to be cheaper. I want my stuff to be cheaper. I want my tax money to only go towards things that help people who are legally here. I think most people are like that. It's like they've been getting kicked around for a long time. And a lot of these very extreme liberal policies don't benefit the United States. And everything should be about benefiting the United States and the American citizens, because that's how it is in almost every other country around the world. I promise you, if you go illegally into another country, well, up until very recently in the EU, they would ride you out of town on the rail. Get out. And again, you put all these commies from the WEF in positions of power so they can try to get to their one world government baloney sausage and impose taxes and control your movement and what you get to eat and everything else. I really do have a disdain for these people. I really do. But it's worse when you're undermining portions of your legal system. And look, to me, it's not a surprise because some of these very same people that politicized the justice system, well, they've been getting caught up in doing lots of illegal activities, right? And they don't want to be blamed or held responsible or accountable. And at the same time, they're still at it undermining the legal system, which the clip I'm going to show you is more than frustrating. It's disgusting. And again, it reinforces the idea that the Democrats are the for crime party. They love criminals. They love criminals and illegals. And when you say illegals, they're criminals too. And people, I know Don Lemon tries to claim that illegal immigration isn't a crime, except it is. He's like, well, it's a misdemeanor. That's true. It's still a crime unless you've done it twice. Then you're a felon. Did you guys know that? Probably not. Let's take a look at this and this next clip. And I'm irritated here, PO'd, because it's Letitia James that is undermining ICE, and she's supposed to be an attorney general for the state of New York. Her prosecution and time in prison are going to be well deserved at this point, in my opinion. Here, let's go.
Attorney General Letitia James announcing a new portal where residents can send photos and videos of ICE operations. James says the portal is meant to review and investigate legal violations by agents, and her statement referenced Tuesday's immigration raid in Chinatown in New York City. Meantime, House Democrats say they...
So she specifically wants to give a map and a layout for where ICE operations are, but it gets worse. Hear me out.
They will launch their own similar ICE tracker. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi criticizing that effort, citing a sharp increase in violence against law enforcement. Coming up later, this Attorney General Letitia James announced.
So the Democrats as a whole, as a party, are going to try to undermine ICE as well. Again, the party of criminals. I'm sick and tired of it. Unbelievable. Spirian says, when I was a correctional officer, man, that's a hard job, dude. I've seen a lot of offenders have an SS lightning bolts. Yep. And the skulls. Yep. Not once has a socialist government lasted more than 100 years. Yeah. Well, we're fighting for our federal system. We're fighting for our republic. By the way, whenever you hear a Democrat or any political party say we're fighting for democracy, it's not, because we're not a pure democracy. We are not mob rule. So I just kind of want to say you need to get some civics lessons. Sorry, you guys are referring back to the dude with the tattoo. I didn't think that would be as big a conversation piece, but yeah, he definitely needs some time in the gym to be a Chippendale for sure. He wasn't even wearing a cummerbund. I'm kind of disappointed. Marcelo, patience, culture, patience. I try. I have to take a lot of deep breaths sometimes when I do this because it's like, anyway, Randy Thoda says their accusations are always deflections. Indeed. Yeah. It's actually projections. They're telling you who they are by accusing others of doing what they're doing. And that's unfortunately the Nancy Pelosi's of the world. Maybe the stream can be called Down the Rabbit Hole with Culture Casino. I try to avoid rabbits because they really tear up your garden. So that's what the bears are for. Yeah, this is true. Thank you, Mark. That tattoo is the logo of an SS division that guarded the camps where people were thinking really hard, making an even worse version. Indeed. Can I be the cat? Sure thing, my friend. Sure thing. I thought you were the cat. Anyway, Lauren's here. Hello, Lauren. Says the rubes have been tricked into believing that Democrats want communism. All right, so you're calling me a rube. Okay, fair enough. They don't. People who went to college, okay, and have good jobs. Well, okay, I went to many colleges and had multiple companies that I ran. Would never share any of their money with Trump supporters. Huh. No, they probably just have us all in the gas chamber. Is that what you were aiming for? Don't know. But look, I have people I don't agree with, but you know, I'm still going to be a good human being. So, have you listened to AOC, Lauren? I'm just curious. Hey, Scott, what's going on? Says black folks are seeing how much crime has gone down where the National Guard were sent. Carjackings in DC down 87% since last year. Those are good statistics. Look, it's I think that an air of superiority because of somebody's racial makeup is disgusting, you know, and trying to pretend that there isn't equal access to ID, which is one of the arguments that is used against voter ID. I'm like, so you saying that a particular race isn't capable of getting ID? That's incredibly racist thought process. Why would you do that? And I think that and I mean I have several black audience members. I'm going to say black people are not going to be fooled by that kind of stuff, and they aren't going to appreciate it at the same time. And so, yeah, they're going to make thoughtful, logical decisions, you know, for the benefit of their families. Nobody wants to live in a community that's rife with crime. It doesn't matter what color they are. So, all that stuff, all that thinking is disgusting to me, and it irritates me. So. Mark Daly says, there we go. I would love to believe New Jersey goes red, but I saw too many Dem signs when I did hurricane duty there to believe it. But I'll be glad to be wrong. So will I. I think Citarelli has got enough, believe it or not, masculinity to win a fair race in New Jersey. And I'm telling you, the Spangenberger lady is in the battle with Winsome Sears is terrible. They sent out one of the regulars out there that pretends to be a preacher with terrible hair to say that it was sexist People aren't going to vote for these women because they're sexist. And I'm like going, you're silly. You're a very silly man. And I hate people who are race hustlers. I have no time for them, especially the ones that claim to, be of the faith and be a reverend or whatever they want to call themselves. Because I'm like, dude, your religion's looking a little broken, bro. Commander Ed Straker says, he's talking to a Louvrian and Makara. Cool beans. Cam says, hopefully Byron Donald is the next governor of Florida. I hope so too. Man, he is more than qualified. That would be a good move for Florida overall. And maybe it secures another 8 years of guardianship over that state. Yeah, I really am not a fan of this @ symbol thing in front of y'all's names, Marcelo. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Here we go. We got O2RR saying no such thing as a government shutdown. I'm all for government slim down. I tell you what, I expected many more federal jobs to be eliminated during this period of time. I really wish Vought had gotten around to several rounds of that. Not because I want people to lose their job, but because the government's just too much of a behemoth and shouldn't be. There are a number of people Doge found that really, what do you do here? What do you say you do here? Love that. Office Space is so good. That's basically most of the government, by the way. We need, military contractors and the people that in part keep us safe. We need good food inspection. We want water to come out of the tap and be safe. We want all those things. That's what the government is for. With a very reasonable set of compliance to ensure that we all stay healthy when we do drink the water or eat the food. But outside of that, some of the stuff that was being regulated is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm telling you right now, if things aren't properly labeled going forward, I'm actually going to go to a lab and have my food tested if I'm getting anything from outside my own backyard, because I want to know what they put into it, what they surfaced it with, or what kinds of drugs they've had. Because hormones are a thing with chickens and with beef, amongst other types of shots that they get. I want to be aware, and I think we all have that right. And we all know what happened to Trotsky. Viva Fry loves that guy. He's awesome. Confession through projection. Indeed. Yeah. Viva Fry's amazing. At the first meetup in Vegas, I believe Barnes was there. I was hoping Fry was going to be there, but he's got such a unique voice. I love his manner of speech. That's probably because he's Canadian, but I don't know. Louvrian Imakara says, I want the IHS to be funded and staffed with practitioners that aren't butchers looking to write off their loan debt. Me too. Me too. Marcellus says, my folks are from Cuba. Yeah, they paid their taxes here. Mom was not cool with people getting privileges she had to work for. She came here to integrate, and you know what? That's to tell a story. One of the ladies that worked for me with me, um, she she and her family came to the U.S. Legally, and you can't imagine the anger and outrage. Um, that she displayed every time somebody was undocumented. So, yeah, I think the people who worked the hardest to be here resent it the most when the people who cheated, jumped the line, made their way into this country and lived off the system. Putin's cat says, I will say the census should probably not count people with no legal status. I mean, that seems logical. Well, again, we weren't really worried about protecting our borders after fighting a war with England. We kind of basically defined our lands at that time, and I don't think anybody thought that we'd have to worry too much about that, especially since, according to everybody, I guess, we're the most armed nation on the planet. Um, I mean, one of the best jokes ever was I can't even remember who said it, but like, you'd be a fool to invade the United States. They have all the guns. Yeah, and all those, what did they say? All the rednecks. The rednecks have been waiting for this day. So, anyway, thought that was interesting. All right, because I want to make sure I get to the story, I'm going to cover the story. It's a big story, and it's kind of a sad story. Um, not for me, but for some. You see, the NBA's got quite a scandal at its feet, and it's also got some of the stupidest commentary I've ever heard. Um, it's just the way it is. We'll get to that in just a second. Does the census care about tourists? No, they don't actually count the tourists, I don't believe. But anyway, our friend O2RR says, thanks for streaming again. Do you think blue states are becoming bluer and red states are becoming redder? Sure seems like it these days. I'm actually seeing a shift to red from all the county maps that you look at. If you look at the United States broken down into counties, you're seeing things that used to be purple that had a good, healthy population that was divided fairly equally between liberal and conservative, red and blue, whatever you want to do that. But you've seen that shading turn more and more from pink to more and more red. Momentum in this country, and even that Tarlov lady that's over on Gutfeld and on the 5, and she's over there. She's pretty radically off for medicine, clearly, over there at Fox. She's even admitted recently that the pendulum is not only swinging back; it's swinging back with speed and force. And she was saying the same thing I was worried about. I never want, what I'd like is for the pendulum to just sit in a neutral position. You know, I want it to, come to a nice soft resting point in the center, but where people discuss things. But she was talking about the fact that it's going to hit something and it's going to go more radically to the right, which I am not a huge fan of. I want, of course, controlled change. I want my money to go to Americans, including myself. I want to get back to common sense where we can all agree, you know what, that may not be the best plan in the world. You can have an experiment over there, see if it works. That's what I'm going to call New York City if Mondami wins, which it looks like he's going to for mayor. That's going to be the communist experience again, and you're going to watch it colossally fail, and you're going to watch the federal government, if Trump is still in charge, and then eventually J.D. Vance, say no every time they come to ask for money. So that's going to be an interesting failure. Eventually, people will get tired of living in a filthy city that is, ground zero for a socialist experiment gone wrong. But, sure, have your little experiment over there and, watch it, fall to the ground or burn up or whatever, and go for it. But we're not going to do that across an entire country or nation. So there's that. But so that, and look, I know it's kind of a not the answer maybe you were looking for. But I don't see, you're suggesting hyperpolarization, and I'm going to say redistricting doesn't help with that. That's for sure, especially in California. But how much farther can California go? You have all of northeastern California wanting to become another state or join with another state. They're so serious about how underrepresented they are and how poorly they're treated that they don't want to be there anymore. That says a lot. California will lose power if they lose those people. And so I think we're going to see at some point some of this stuff calm down, or at least I hope, and maybe get back to having civil conversations. If we had that right now, if there wasn't so much theatrics being done. Oh, by the way, the January 6th stuff last year or 2 years ago or whenever that happened, and they had their select bologna sausage committee with fake Republican fat lady. Those people are all going to be in legal trouble soon enough, but that never needed to happen. That was all theatrics. They hired a Hollywood producer. Most people don't know that. And that's kind of where we are right now. They're trying to get an outcome through these theatrics, and it's not going to work because everybody knows what the difference is between the parties right now and what they're thinking. Republicans are thinking we'll never get voted for again if we give away $1.5 trillion for no reason for 2 months, because that's what it was. And they want to give away health care to people who are here illegally. Nobody in their right mind wants to do that. Again, you're just trying to bolster your voting base that you brought here illegally. Look, I don't want to do the NBA story yet. We'll get there, I promise. But I want to do another one. Hang on a moment. Because the whole reason that I wanted to do the stream today, the way I wanted to do it, was because of one story. I called it out in the title. I asked the question, is Gavin Newsom responsible for the deaths on the highway that he's handing CDLs to illegals? Well, it's like somebody reached down and decided to give me the story this morning, which is disgusting, frustrating, and frankly infuriating. And I think Gavin should be held responsible and sent to jail. I'll show you because it's important. If you haven't seen this, 3 people died on the 10 freeway, and they're just trying to get, out of the LA area, right? Some of the people were maybe heading to their flights, all kinds of stuff. And as somebody who's been on this freeway many, 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 many times, this is a multi-lane, folks. This is a 7-8 lane freeway in California. Lots of people are on this road, especially the time of day, which is the end of the day. And a very irresponsible human being that is here illegally was issued a CDL, which he shouldn't have been, and caused multiple fatalities. 3 major hospitalizations. And I find this absolutely disgusting. Here it is from the dash cam from within his cab. Here we go.
Take a look. This is exclusive dash cam video that is now the subject of several law enforcement investigations. Shows the moment a red semi-truck plowed into a number of vehicles on the westbound 10 freeway in Ontario just after 1 p.m. yesterday. The CHP told the LA Times the driver of this big rig is a 21-year-old man who...
She said there, a 21-year-old man. Very careful not to say illegal. Everybody knew that right away. He was illegal. Everybody knew.
Who is now under arrest on suspicion of driving under the influence of drugs. A total of 4 semis were involved and also 4 passenger vehicles, one of them exploding in flames. 3 people were killed and 4 others were taken to local hospitals. This horrific crash happened just east of the 15 freeway and shut down all westbound lanes for more than 12 hours. Thousands of drivers were trapped in the gridlock just as the evening commute was getting underway. It also happened near the Ontario airport, so the crash likely delayed people that were trying to get to their flights.
There you go. Is Gavin Newsom's policies responsible for this? I think so. Hey, James Stewart's in the house. Well, good morning, old savings and loan. Anyway, I'm kidding. I do a terrible Jimmy Stewart, by the way. But no, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Generic, yes. Rabbits are tasty. Very lean meat. Good eating, indeed. Oh, did you see that Bitcoin story, Putin's cat? The couple that stole like 20 something billion in Bitcoin or something. It was an interesting story. I saw that. I'm not sure about that, but what do you guys think? Do you think Gavin's to blame for these incidents? Now, mind you, this isn't the first one. This is just the one that happened yesterday. I mean, doing a U-turn in the middle of a freeway, killing everybody in a minivan. You guys remember that one? I just got to know. Yeah, Putin's cat makes some pretty cool vids, and he's dropped a few of them recently on X as well. So. You guys are on fire. But I'm serious. Maybe I need to scroll back a little bit. Oh, shoot. Did I miss this one? Archer sent, hey, but culture, they have people skills. Yeah, I know. And as in finding ways to count dead people. Well, that's funny. Bonjour. Good to see you, Andy. Hope you're doing well. The most talented man on the internet. Trying to find where you guys are commenting on this if you are. I don't know if it's just me irritated by this. Maybe not. Yeah, Harold Ford is really, really good on the 5. He's a very well-informed, passionate man that has the voice of integrity. Not a lot of Democrats come off that way. And New York City is definitely going back to the 1970s, and I remember that. New York City was a cesspool. It's returning to its natural state. Tarlov's been on Gutfield's show. He dressed her down pretty good the last time she was there, I'm pretty sure. But C&D Designs in the house. It's really weird to see that @ sign in front of your name, my friend. Communism is bad, okay? Hail the rebellion, CC. Indeed. Hail the rebellion. Yeah. And power to the 199. So there you go. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up with you guys. Did Newsom personally hand the guy a license? I don't know. If there's video of that, I'll try to find it for you, Putin's cat. Again, it's policies. Olivrian says, I read about this last night. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, I must have seen it now 5 or 6 times, maybe more, probably 6 or 7. When I did the clip, I wanted to make sure it ended on the last comment of the female reporter about people missing their flights at Ontario Airport. They were really gridlocked, like thousands of cars stuck on the road. So Fallen Angel D-Links thinks, yep, Gavin should be responsible. Spirian says, one of the governors of Illinois went to prison for selling CDL licenses to illegals. Yeah, he did. I think that's more than 20 years ago, if I'm not wrong. The Department of Transportation has very serious and stringent policies. California right now isn't getting $40 million in tax money because they don't comply. Yeah, I know, Cam. They didn't have time to suffer. That red car literally exploded. That was the fireball on your right as you go through the video. Mark Daly says, CC, the blood from the CDLs and the blood from the fires are on Newsom's hands. He should be acting like Lady Macbeth. Oh, I can't look. There's a lot of things that we should pay close attention to. But I think Putin's cat makes a good point, and Squirrel Lords Gaming also makes a good point. We deserve to have better candidates across the board. The problem is public service sucks. The rewards are few. For many people, it is a calling, and those people are going to give you their wholehearted best approach to whatever it is they're doing. But for people who make politics a lifestyle and a career, they're not there for the right reasons. I mean, we used to have the best and the brightest in our governance, especially nationally. Why? Because they were doctors and lawyers and people of not just means, but intellect. And they would travel to DC to be there for, I think, a maximum of 13 weeks. And then they would go back to their constituency. Could you imagine seeing your representation, your representative and senator back in your state, doing things in your state, listening to, the concerns of the populace in the state instead of taking checks from lobbyists? Well, he was under the influence of drugs. You know. And believe it or not, that the dash cam that y'all just watched, that's definitely going to be used in the trial because it was from his dash cam where he's just obliterating it. He went full maximum overdrive mode and went over a whole lot of stuff. Where's my greenhouse channel? Good to see you, bro. This guy's a superstar. If you didn't catch last night's extra long live stream to celebrate his 200K subscriptions, you missed out on something special. We were out of our minds for the entire night. It was a lot of fun. Go check that out. We got our friend Lucius Nature Triste saying, "Thanks, CC, for all you do." Well, thank you for contributing to us. I appreciate that. All the donos, the tips, whatever you want to call your donation, I just say thank you. It really does help. It builds the channel. It allows me to, put the resources back into the channel to make it better and better. And I've made a decision, despite today's, technical issues. I'm going to use EVMux going forward for live stream production because StreamYard has too many glitches. Last night I was witness to, I felt like 150,000 of them on Pro stream and equal number today. It just breaks too much. But your mileage may vary, probably will. I'm just doing a lot of sophisticated types of things in production here, and this platform works the best most of the time. So this is a very sad day yesterday. So I'm sorry, Aluvrian. This one is just sad. Colorado has a lot of hit and runs. I have a real problem with how light certain states are going on people who have been under the influence of something specifically that they've decided is legal in their state. And again, with family members who, are gardeners for a different reason than I am. I'm just going to say it changes. Being under the influence of that changes your decision-making process. So, Colorado wouldn't surprise me, but do you realize the Supreme Court is looking right now at a case of whether or not you can, the people that do the green lettuce, whether or not they should be allowed to be gun owners. That's an interesting thing. And yeah, you're right, Squirrel Lord. It's good to see you, my friend. Accountability is kryptonite to the Democratic left. Yeah, and to a lot of people in general, to be fair. I mean, most of the ladies destroying their lives over, pleasure. I mean, those are the TikToks we cover over on Campione Reacts. I'm going to get Nat on there. We're going to do a series of clips. I'm sure she's going to laugh. She's so well spoken. It's a great channel. You should check out Nat and the guy. Just wonderful people. Keep It Real says he should be in prison. Well, I think that guy is in prison. I don't think he's going to get out. But I do hate a lot of states with the catch and release rule, the no bail garbage. I think that's a middle finger to society to let a criminal out after they've committed a crime in a no bail situation or a limited controlled bail situation. I think, this person took 3 people's lives so far. I don't think you get a step out of the box, kind of a situation there. You deserve to be inconvenienced. Putin's cat. No, I believe me, I get this. I mean, there's been a lot of those Bitcoin thieves. Apparently, there have been a lot of hackers that have been going after cryptocurrency and executive salaries. Kind of fascinating. Gavin, for the relaxation of actual law and the state DMV that ignores common sense daily. Yeah. No doubt. No doubt indeed. Hey, it's the third doctor. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. And look, it's Glade Riven. Hello. They can't count. Math is for racists. Yeah. Yeah. The Godzillionaire says, culture loves Jessica Tarlov on the 5. True story. I do not. She's very dim bulb. She's sometimes very funny though. Let's see what's going on. Richard James says the dead's feelings are being hurt by having their votes taken away. Yeah, man. What do they call that when you're disenfranchised? The dead are being disenfranchised because their votes are being stolen. I'm running out of water. Let's see. What do we got? Hey, what's going on? Brian Parker says LLTR later. All right. Eluvrian says, culture, this is the outcome of not allowing Mexican truckers into California. If they're driving on their own government plates and licenses, at least we can avoid them. I have to tell you, this is an absolutely new phenomenon, and I've never felt in any risk when the people from Mexico came up with their own rigs under their own trucking companies and licenses, and they understood the road and they were very proficient in English. These people are not. This person was from India, and this was an absolute disaster. But I had to cover the story. This is the one that got me all fired up today. And I'm frustrated again. Every single point I was saying is that we got to stop pretending that we don't know what and who people are. It doesn't benefit us or them. And the pretending, and falling into their fantasies and their weirdness. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be compelled to do that. I'm not going to be forced, coerced, any of the other wonderful adjectives out there. I'm just not. I'm always at odds with. I'm always at odds with the go along, get along people because it doesn't work. We have to be a country under the law. We have to have a moral center. We have to have a sense of right and wrong. And we have to call things out for what they are. We shouldn't have political parties enabling criminal activity in whatever form. I don't think once California decided that it's okay to steal a certain dollar amount, they destroyed their businesses. They destroyed whole communities. Californians bailed out of California because of the terrible policies of one party. That shouldn't be able to happen. And that's the other issue is like when you change the way you put people in office, which California did, you can easily be controlled by, whatever particular mind virus is going around at a given time. It's just wild to me. Yeah, I've got to tell you, Putin's cat does some really good stuff. Marks 47. I mean, he gives me a hard time and everything, but it's fine. You know, he gives a lot of people a hard time, but it's really good. He's got really good stuff. Hey, what's up, Third Doctor Andy? Just saw you a minute ago saying, sorry for being late. I'm at the pub having a beer in my TARDIS beer mug. Awesome. It's raining hard here. Hope you're well, brother. I am fantastic. I'm grateful to see you. Hadn't seen you for a few days. Saw you for a moment on another stream, but it's good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Super Sig alert for a horrific reason. Yeah. Yeah, if you guys don't know the SIG alerts and everything else in California lingo, didn't Trump pardon Blago? I don't even know who that is. George, what's his name? Santos got a commuted sentence. I really didn't like that for 1,000 reasons, but it is what it is. What else is going on? That service dog says, shouldn't it cost so much to be put on the ballot? I agree. Could you imagine me, yours truly, CC, in some kind of an office? Because I had thought about that. It's one of the reasons I was pathing in particular directions in school. Anyway, it is what it is. The problem is we have too many lawyers in the government. Yep, and they all got to eat. By the way, Letitia James's trial is going to be super fun. Yep. Once the people get a hint of the fact that she was basically stealing money from them because she manipulated things so she could get the best possible deal and rate. Crazy stuff. Oh yeah, last night's stream was bonkers, crazy, generic, Burnett. Indeed, I had a lot of fun. I hope I was at least entertaining people. Got another super duper chat from our friend. Oops, from our friend Commander Ed Straker a shadow. Thank you, Commander. Says you're not going to CompUSA for a new dial-up modem. No. Not going to do that. I'm really angry with what happened today, but that's a glitch that happens when there's internet connectivity issues from end to end. 504 bad gateway is a pathing problem. Usually that's internal for EVMux. Probably was probably one of their switches or something, or maybe even a core router crashed on their end. Because it takes a lot to run as many things as it does from a browser window at their end. I'm just going to say. We'll be loading up Campione here very soon. Again, I'm going to get with Nat this weekend and try to record some. Maybe I'll let Guy in there too. I know he feels left out, but his wife is brilliant. So. Glade Rivens, I am everywhere. Like a bad rash. Is there a good rash? Is there a good rash? Honestly. Hey, Putin's cat. Wow, buddy. Says, geez, $2 to put a message. Have I exposed myself? I hope not, friend. But you didn't have to do that. I'm reading your chats as I see them, bud. E.C. Thomason. think I know who this is. Culture Casino, head of security, I meant. Hey, there you go. I actually would work for Homeland Security, to be fair. Putin's cat, I'm not going to argue with you. We should have more than two parties. Well, you could form your own. I mean, the Republicans did. Kind of changed the map. They came out of the necessity for the desire to get rid of slavery and racism and discrimination at a time when it was all over the country, especially the South. L. Bird is in the house. Hello, L. Bird. Juliet, thank you for wrenching away. I know it's late. Pardons for dollars? No, that was the Biden folks with the auto pen. But yeah, I mean, that would be kind of an interesting thing. Pardons for dollars. There you go. George Santos. What a weird little man. Corrupt as all heck. Man, and that's the other thing. If you're going to be part of the movement like MAGA or the new conservative revolution, as Dr. Turley calls it, or other people out there that are kind of pushing red, you got to call out both sides. You got to call out your own. You got to call balls and strikes. You have to do it across the board. It's not just in politics. I bet you noticed that WW Pro, myself, and several other people call balls and strikes. Like, you got to call out your own side if they're doing something wrong. And it's imperative. It's the only way to keep make it look like you are unbiased. And also it's a good way to stay unbiased, to be fair. So Blagovich, see, I had no idea, but Brahma did, and thankfully Brahma's here. So thank you, Brahma. All the way, dude. Appreciate you. Caleb would vote for me. Thank you, Caleb. I just don't know what I would run for. I don't know. I want Letitia in jail. I think you're going to get your want, McReady. I think so, my friend. Our friend from across the pond, the third doctor, Andy, says, how does Gavin Newsom still have a job? I don't know, dude. He's been recalled more than any California governor that I've ever lived through. It's insane. And Brown was terrible. Terrible. Ice culture. That sounds great. Fat Laba. I'm sure you have a different name, but that's a pretty cool name. The digits I don't get. Why they add those, I don't know. But yeah, ice culture. Ice culture. Ding, 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 ding. You guys are great. Yeah, they're okay with gerrymandering until the Republicans start to do it. By the way, all the raise your hand if you think they're going to get rid of the Section 2 of the VRA. I do. I think the Supreme Court's going to fix that disaster. Yeah, I see, and I would be a little worried if I agreed with 100% of what Trump does, because I think that the issues around the island boy, I think they just need to come clean. Look, I don't care. I don't care if it exposes some of the people that are Republican, conservative. I don't care if it's some of the heavy hitters in the Democratic side. I don't care. if they did wrong, and they did wrong. You gotta not be afraid of that. You gotta not. I'm just saying. Oh, I'm sorry, Richard James. It's the Voters' Rights Act. It's where they essentially put DEI into the voting system so that they could carve out districts, so they could force representation that maybe didn't need to be forced in the first place. It's hard to get it both ways, when you have a black president elected and still call the country racist. It doesn't work out well. Yeah, no human being is perfect, and that's the other conversation. If you're a faithful person, and it's good to see you, Scooby Pup. I hope you're doing all right. And thank you for including me in your list of mentions so that I can make sure everybody gets a chance to see you and your channel. I find it funny, says Mars Monkey Max, that everything the Democrats accuse the Republicans of, they keep getting busted for. Also, every time they bring the hammer down, it backfires. Yeah, I have a feeling that this Schumer didn't prevent his ouster. He may have actually hastened it. Because I think at the end of the day, when people realize that you're suffering for no reason other than two men's egos at being replaced by AOC potentially, I mean, that's just garbage. There's no way the Republicans are going to give you a $1.5 trillion with 200 million of it being earmarked for illegal health care. Yeah, Mars is in the house. Been a minute. Yeah. So anyways, section 2, sorry, I didn't finish that conversation. Racial districting, which is illegal. That was section 2 of the VRA made it that possible to make racially driven districts, which is insanity. So, and if you're looking to get into politics from the ground level up, see if you can talk to a precinct captain or someone. I actually have mine get a hold of me either by text or phone call during elections. So I know who I'm voting for. Anyway. No, thank you. Scooby, we're supposed to help each other. That's the plan, my friend. I hope you're doing well. And I hope Tony's still working with you and doing a great job because he's wonderful. Anyway. Yeah, I think common sense in action is the most important part of a good government. Again, the dead man with 5 Culture Casino Cash says, with the island boy, it's both sides involved. I believe you. And he has CIA money mover. Yep. He wasn't just a money mover. He was he peddled dirty tricks in the form of blackmail. So that's why they're not going to release anything. I think they should. I really do. It would restore some credibility in some of the agencies that are definitely involved in that, like the CIA. See, and the population is the problem, I think, with districting, because they all reside. The majority are going to reside in urban areas, and the people who are out in the country, they have different needs and they have different wants. And I think you kind of need to put your rural stuff into their own little box so that they have what would be equal to the urban area. I think that's one of the reasons why we have the Electoral College in this country still. It's just the fairest way to make sure everybody's interests are represented, because you could always mistreat one group of people and create bad times for them, and then all of a sudden you don't have food anymore. That's a bad idea. So. Um, I, I'm kind of worried about the redistricting plan for California. I think Prop 50 needs to be defeated. So, um, um, those are just my opinions. Let's see. There's a bunch of questions in here. Oh, hey, Stanley Davis Jr. asked me a question. Food question. Um, can you freeze chanterelles? I found a ton of them in the mountains. First of all, are you certain they're chanterelles? And second, when it comes to mushrooms, best practices would probably, and again, I'm not telling you how to do this. You're going to need to look this up and make sure, double confirm. But when you're doing mushrooms, the best thing is to make sure they're cooked, and before you freeze them. You can certainly freeze them, but um, you got to get the moisture out of them. That way, you don't end up with a crunchy or very strange texture on them. So yeah. Um, and I'm a big like saute guy with my mushrooms. So like when I have a selection of them, um, I'm very very specific in my process, especially if they're going to go next to my steak. I like shiitake mushrooms. I'm a freak for shiitakes. They're very good. Hey, Barry the Music Man, good to see you. Like I said, whenever I'm telling you advice about prepping food or any of that stuff, your mileage will vary and you need to do research on it. Don't take me 100% because first of all, I check you actually ended up with chanterelles. So, shape and color can be misleading. All right. I I know you guys are keenly interested in the gardening stuff. Third Dr. Andy shoots another super duper chat in here and says Trump will be criticized for everything he does, so he should just enable the Insurrection Act and bring on the troops. Well, yeah. I'm not a real fan of martial law, but that's something you're not wrong. Andy, my friend, you are not wrong. I love the Third Doctor. Anyway, Mark Daly, what's up, buddy? Sends another super chat. Says, Cash Patel said, Island Boy. It was not a fan of Staying Alive. Yeah. He must have seen the note. Please excuse Jeffrey. He hasn't been himself lately. Well, I don't think he ever will be again. Da, da, da. Do your research. Thank you, Brian. And you are correct. You are correct. I just know how to store mushrooms. So. All right. Well, we've been through an entire show and we're 9 minutes longer than I expected us to be, but that's because of the weird things that happened when we were trying to start and the fact that we're on in a completely different locations. For those of you who sought us out today, thank you. For those of you on X, I appreciate you. I saw you. I appreciate you. And for those of you on Green Machine, you guys are awesome. Keep it up and do plan on this show at the same time every Tuesday and Thursday if I can make it happen because I'm here for you. And I have a lot of fun doing this. Not so much fun when a trucker destroys people's lives because he's high and here illegally and driving illegally. It's insane. I'm in a weird place. Speaking of weird place, the next place I want you to go when you have a moment, later tonight, we're going to be on Comics Division's channel doing the Thursday night throwdown. And so we'll be talking about some of the weird pop culture stories of the week and, yelling at each other quite a bit and doing a lot of inappropriate jokes. So there's that. The support today was extraordinary. Thank you all so very much. Do remember, I'm really trying to get back up to 1,000 members. You can help with that by gifting memberships if you choose to at any time, including during the 6-Minute Daily tomorrow morning. I would really appreciate seeing all of you there. We're trying to build that show back up over 350 viewers simultaneously. I would like to get this show to that level as well. On that note, just remember, it's only 23 days so far of two men's inadequacy in public view. The Schumer shutdown featuring El Jefe Sombrero, Hakeem Jeffries. Wouldn't be here if they weren't worried about AOC and the communists. On that note, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of other, and AO to all of you.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. I don't fucking take smoke, I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently. Thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes a dynasty.